Hello, I'm Tyler Cheese coming to you with our virtual newscast from Humber College. It's Thursday, June 10th. Here's what's making news. Ontario is set to reopen its economy this week, allowing, among other things, outdoor dining and non-essential retail. This is the province's first step to reopening and comes after several lockdowns and stay-at-home orders. Tina Nalove-Ikome-Likombi has the story.
Customers will soon be authorized to fill up these scanty premises and empty chairs. This week, some businesses across the province will reopen to a limited capacity.
We are very excited about the reopening of the patios. Customers have been asking and wanting this for a long time, so we can't wait. We hope that it helps with the business. It's been a long time coming.
On Tuesday, the province announced its decision to move to step 1 of its roadmap to reopen, after a steady drop in COVID-19 cases and an increase in vaccination rates. Non-essential retail shops can reopen with a 15% capacity, and restaurants can have outdoor dining with up to 4 people.
Freshening things up, flipping them back, getting some tents on to make customers comfortable. And looking forward for them to be able to come, sit, and have their meal outside, especially with the warmer weather here.
The province will stay in step 1 for 21 days and move to step 2 2 weeks later if public health indicators like vaccination rates stay positive. I am Tina Nalove-Ikome-Likombi, Humber News.
Now that Step 1 in the province's reopening framework is underway, Step 2 can begin in as few as 21 days. The next phase is dependent on 70% of residents having their first vaccine and 20% having received their second. Vaccination centers remain busy with the accelerated rollout of vaccines. As of this week, more than 72% of adults have received their first vaccine dose, and second doses are now available to those over 70 and those who received their first dose before April 18th. The weekly average of new COVID-19 cases continues to drop, this week dipping below 500 new cases for several days in a row, the lowest count of new infections since last September. Ottawa has announced that soon Canadian travelers who have received both vaccines will no longer be required to quarantine for 14 days. Travelers will be required to take a COVID-19 test on arrival and isolate until receiving a negative test result. The government will also end the requirement that travelers spend 3 days in quarantine at hotels on arrival at airports. In London, Ontario, a GoFundMe campaign launched in the wake of what police are calling a targeted attack on a Muslim family has now raised more than $700,000. Donors from around the world are continuing to respond to the horrific crime. The 20-year-old accused of killing 4 members of the Afdal family with his pickup truck appeared in court for the first time today. Nathaniel Veltman is charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of attempted murder in what police say was a planned and premeditated attack against the family because of their faith. Salman Afdal, his wife Medea Salman, their 15-year-old daughter Yumna, and Salman's mother Talat Afdal were killed while out for a family walk last Sunday. While waiting at a stoplight to cross the road, the driver of a black pickup truck jumped the curb, mowing down the family. It's the first mass murder in London, Ontario's history. People have been gathering at a makeshift memorial paying tribute to the deceased family. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau joined the vigil in London on Tuesday evening and expressed his condolences.
To this community, which has made London stronger for generations, and to all Muslim Canadians, we are with you.
London police say they are working with the RCMP and prosecutors towards laying additional charges of terrorism. The accused is set to appear in court again on Monday. Looking to the north of the province, Sault Ste. Marie has a proposal for you if you're interested in making a bit of a lifestyle change. The small city, 8 hours north of the GTA, is investing in a new campaign to help increase immigration rates and retain skilled foreign workers. The incentive is focused on promoting this northern community's spectacular outdoor adventures. Danielle Dupuis reports.
This is just one of many sights to be seen in Northern Ontario, and the city of Sault Ste. Marie is searching for ways to get young people to move here. Early this month, the city launched the Adventure Pass campaign to help attract immigrants to the community with a $500 voucher that can be used for outdoor activities in and around the city.
The Adventure Pass is really a welcome tool to promote Sault Ste. Marie to newcomers to the community. And we've got wonderful amenities in and around Sault Ste. Marie that a lot of people aren't aware of.
The Adventure Pass is the first of its kind and can be used towards purchasing hiking and biking equipment and for other outdoor activities that newcomers may not have experienced before.
It's an exciting time in the community, a time of, as I said, rejuvenation, and a time to welcome new people and make them aware of the great quality of life and options that we've got here in the community.
Newcomers to the city, Lavleen Sharma and her husband Harsh, arrived from India in July 2020 as part of the Rural and Northern Immigration Pilot Project the federal government launched last year to help attract individuals. Experiencing nature in the great outdoors is why the couple picked Sault Ste. Marie instead of anywhere else.
Everybody suggested that to move to Toronto, Brampton. We wanted to move to a smaller town, a small peaceful town close to nature. So I started doing my research and somewhere popped up this name in the website of the city, Welcome to Sault Ste. Marie. And there were like top 10 reasons to move here. And then we went through all of them and saw a few of the YouTube videos about other people who moved here. And they just loved it.
The couple has been exploring Sault Ste. Marie since first arriving and already have a list of camping ideas for the summer. The city has seen more numbers of families move to the community because of opportunities and outdoor adventures. The city hopes these numbers continue. Humber News, I'm Danielle Dupuis. Back to you, Tyler.
Thanks, Danielle. Well, over the past year, we've all learned the importance of being able to enjoy even the smallest amount of nature. But a new health report from Statistics Canada indicates that exposure to urban green space is not distributed equally among all residents of Canada.
So the biggest takeaway regarding greenness in Canada is basically that greenness is unequally distributed within urban areas.
The report found racialized Canadians and immigrants have less exposure to things like trees and parks, and therefore experience less of the associated health benefits.
There does seem to be a link between greenness and psychological health. And we also know that it has a positive benefit on things like physical activity and outdoor time, which have, downstream effects on health, like on reducing obesity and promoting cardiovascular health and other things.
To put the report together, the researchers compared satellite imagery in urban areas to data from the 2016 census. Among the findings, those who self-identified as white clearly have much more exposure to urban greenness.
What really stood out to us was that Filipino populations in particular had the lowest exposure to greenness in Canada, in urban Canada.
In fact, even white respondents with the lowest household incomes still had higher exposure than to Filipino respondents with the highest household income. Similarly, immigrants were found to have less exposure to urban green space than non-immigrants across the board. The report also states the importance of identifying an indirect mechanism that may be upholding systemic inequalities in Canada. In the meantime, if you don't have much greenness near you, the health researchers say it's a good idea to go out and find some. From green to blue now, the annual celebration of World Oceans Day was held this week to recognize the importance of our planet's open waters. The goal of Oceans Day is to raise global awareness of the benefits oceans have to humans. Claudia Krichka dives into the story.
All humans have a connection with the water. Whether it's for leisure or transport, there is no escaping this sea.
Not only should people be aware of the role of the oceans in their lives, but become aware that they can impact the oceans, just like they can impact any environment.
We are contributing to a filthy sea filled with human waste. According to a report by the Canadian Society of Environmental Biologists, Atlantic shorelines are littered with trash. The most common item found is cigarette butts, followed by rope, then tiny plastics, and styrofoam.
If the material's not buried or burned appropriately, it can be blown off and into waterways, and eventually it gets to the sea.
Ocean pollution and waste greatly impacts marine life. Due to the contaminants in waters, orcas are considered the most contaminated animals on the planet.
and they just picked up the contaminants through the food chain, and they accumulate them and they pass them on to their young, and that can have problems.
In the end, the overriding issue contributing to ocean health is climate change.
A lot of the surface waters, especially off in the North Atlantic near Nova Scotia, are becoming more acidic, and that affects marine organisms. So that's become a big issue.
While World Oceans Day is intended to raise awareness in appreciating the good oceans can provide us, it's up to the population to stop putting waste material in the waters. For Humber News, I'm Claudia Krichka.
Now in the world of sports, soccer fans have something to look forward to again as the 2020 UEFA Euro Cup finally resumes this week, and things look a little different this time around. Friday's game marks the first time there will be multiple cities hosting the Cup. 11 cities across the continent will take part in the tournament. Last year's matches were postponed in March due to the pandemic. Players and personnel will follow strict COVID-19 protocols. Players must remain in their own bubble and are not allowed contact with the public. If a player does test positive for the virus, they must isolate while the rest of the team is subject to a COVID test before they are cleared to play. Soccer fans are allowed to watch the matches at the stadium. The game capacity varies per stadium and the evolving COVID situation in the country. Currently, London promises to hold a 25% fan capacity for the first 3 games of the tournament. Meanwhile, St. Petersburg has confirmed a 50% stadium capacity. International travelers are allowed at the games, but they must follow the country's COVID protocol list. Turkey and Italy will play the first match Friday, with kickoff set for 3 p.m. And back home in Toronto, after months of pandemic lockdowns, a visual artist has decided it's time to bring a little joy to Moss Park, his downtown neighborhood. Irena Homenko has more.
For an abstract artist Andrew Stelmach, the idea to create a mural after every storm there is a rainbow came as a wish to give back to the community. It was his first time painting street art, which took several days to come up with a sketch and then a week to complete the work. As an abstract artist, Stelmach usually uses ideas, colors, and shapes to later turn them into artwork. Over the last 2 years, he studied adding rainbows in his paintings, which also led him to this mural.
And one of the great things about a storm is that after the storm, there's always a rainbow. And what I started to, I think subconsciously, what I was doing is I was painting rainbows because I wanted the storm to be over.
The mural has 5 circles that symbolize COVID waves, but its main purpose is to be a reminder that tough times will end eventually. Stelmach received a lot of grateful reactions, but his most memorable interactions were with homeless people.
And I'll be honest, I was surprised how many of them wanted to talk and engage with me. And you go, it's just a good reminder that we take the homeless and the down and out and we kind of categorize them and we almost dehumanize them. And it's so obvious that they're just like you and me, and they see just like you and me, and they feel just like you and me.
Stelmach hopes his mural will keep on bringing joy to citizens and plans to paint more street art when the opportunity arises. Irina Hanenko for Humber News.
That's all for today. I'm Tyler Cheese. Humber News is written and produced by students in the journalism program. For more coverage, visit our website, humbernews.ca, and follow us on Twitter at HumberJRNL. We'll see you again next time.